Yes, welcome back. Time to turn our attention to some of the greats of South Australia. Poppy, let me tell you, our next guest, 3 Olympic Games.
3 Olympic Games.
3 NBL championships.
Yes.
3 children, and he's been married only the one.
Only the one. Yeah. There's still plenty of time. Still plenty of time.
Yeah, let's talk about Brett Maher. Marzi, how are you?
Yeah, going really well, thank you.
All right, we'll get on to your career past. Let's talk about present. Just joined the Fire Brigade recently.
Wow.
How's that transition been?
Oh, it's fantastic. 6 months into it now, thoroughly enjoying it. It's one of the few jobs that's similar to playing professional sport. You're around predominantly a lot of guys and, get to do a lot of fun stuff.
You know, Kane Corns joined recently too, and I think you're right. It's a way to live that lifestyle that you're used to in an environment that is all about team and about achieving results and about learning and training, and it must be, in some ways, pretty satisfying beyond just being a job.
Yeah, and it's rewarding as well. I think you're serving the community. You get to go out and rescue cats as well as save burning buildings.
That's right.
You go to work and you honestly don't know what you're going to get that day, which I think adds a lot to it as well.
And it's amazing how many sports people actually are involved in the Fireys. I don't think it's by chance either.
No, there's a lot of footy guys in there, SANFL guys, a few AFL guys as well. So, I think it really suits that dynamic, and a lot of tradies in there as well that get to do a little bit on the side.
Explain why a lot of houses are burnt down with the football guys. Marzi, I'm interested because a lot of people talk about the comparison between the Fireys and sport, in that it's got that sport feel about it, but there's kind of that extreme part of sport. Now, you've been an Olympian, so you can answer this really clearly. One's life-threatening. You know, you're relying on the guy behind you in a flame situation. I imagine something goes wrong. He can determine whether you live or die. Sometimes in sport they go, it's life or death to win. Can you draw how far apart that really is?
It is. I guess with the Fireys, there's a lot of safety involved as well. The guys are trained exceptionally well, and the officer won't put us into a situation where there's a high chance of something going wrong. So it is fairly safe, although we do get put in some extreme circumstances. But it's the adrenaline rush is one of the big things as well, because when you get the sirens go and you're going out there, the adrenaline's right up there, which is very similar to when you're playing in a game. That adrenaline's right up there, and you're making really key decisions that could influence a game or save someone's life.
But you know what, in a lot of ways though, when you're training to play, you know when you're playing, you know how to peak for that preparation, you're ready to go, you know, as an individual and as a team. With the Fireys, you're continually training in readiness for an event that may or may not happen, and if it does, you don't know when. And I think that's what makes it that edgy bit that you don't get in sport.
Yeah, it is. But there's a lot of fun stuff along the way. I've been out training for high angle stuff as well, so doing abseiling and there's a lot of different parts to the job as well that I think add to it.
There seems to be with the Fireys that maintain physical condition. I know the guys have a set time where they can work out in the gym, but you don't see too many fat Fireys, do you?
No, there's certainly an ageing workforce in there, and they're trying to, I guess, combat that at the moment, get some new fresh blood in, and also get some more females into the job as well. I think a big key with that is as long as they're capable of doing the job, it'd be great to get some more females in there.
When you talk about capable of doing the job, there's some pretty heavy lifting stuff, isn't there?
There is, you got to lift people out of buildings, and I know the process that you put through in the recruitments, right through that. If you can get through that, then you should be able to do most of the job. So it's a pretty good process that they put you through. All
right, we're less than 100 days away from the Olympic Games in Rio. You were 96, 2000, 2004.
So 3 Olympics, 4. So between us,
7.
7 Olympics between us. When you reflect back, you forget how good we were. 7 Olympics. How many times did you represent Australia?
100 and something.
And what about you, Smythe?
Yeah, nearly 400.
So between us, about 600 times. It's amazing, isn't it?
You divided by 3 is 200 each.
200 each.
It's really quite an accomplishment. I'm glad you brought that up. Marzi, first one, second one, third one, which one gives you that little bit extra?
They're all really different. The first one's exciting because it's your first, and we played off for medals in the first and second one, which I think is everyone's goal to try and get there. The third one we didn't play for medals, but individually I got a really good go and got to play some good minutes, and I thought played reasonably well at that one. So for different reasons, the third one was good individually, but as a team, which is why you go there to play for medals, it was pretty special in the first two.
Biggest pitfall for a first-time Olympian? If someone was sitting here right now getting ready to go to their first Olympics, what would you say this is what you need to be aware of?
I would say the village and everything that's going on, getting caught up in everything other than what you're there for. There's so much. We went and watched Jerry Seinfeld perform live, Tony Bennett perform live. There's concerts. There's the village itself is enormous. You can get caught up walking around that. McDonald's, there's 9 McDonald's outlets in the village, and if you're not careful, you can get drawn away from the thing that you really focus on.
I suspect that's where you would have excelled.
In the village. But in saying that, and some of the most professional athletes, and I think the swimmers last year got caught up in, maybe not the perfect preparation. But you would have thought at this level that they are in the zone, but at the same time, distractions around young kids who are at their peak physical level.
What happens though is you get all this advice before you go, and then you're in the village and suddenly Usain Bolt walks through, and everybody's sitting there and they go, they rush over to get a photo, and that kind of starts it, I reckon. Don't you reckon? You just suddenly there's so many great athletes there that becomes the first distraction, and then generally I should go and have a look at that, and you have to find the balance between staying focused on competing and then getting some downtime. So going to see Seinfeld, that's probably the perfect. Get away from the village, get out and do that. But it's the life in the village that 10,000 of the greatest athletes in the world are in one spot, and it's hard.
What
not
about
to get
those then that choose to want to be outside of the village? They're almost ostracised by the media for choosing that when they do. Is that a good thing, bad thing? How does that work?
Well, when you're the dream team, they have to stay out, because when they come into the village, they get mobbed by absolutely everyone, including us. So they have to stay out. You understand that. But the others, I don't mind it, because you're there. You've trained potentially your whole life to get to this point. The less distractions, the better.
Every Olympic Games that the basketballers go to, this is going to be their best team. This will be their best result. Right now, we're talking about 8, 9, 10 potential NBA players being on this team, players from Europe coming in. Big expectation on this group to medal. Think they will? Think they can?
I think they can. What they're coming out with at the moment, though, is they've set the ultimate goal of a gold medal. That's what they're saying is their target, which...
It should be in LA.
I think
it should be in LA at Disneyland, but
they're a little bit unrealistic with that. But I don't know. That may be the psychology of it to aim for that. I think if they can hit a medal, it would be an amazing result with the calibre of the other teams around the world. But as you said, there's a lot of guys playing the NBA now and in really good leagues in Europe, and they're not all bench players in the NBA. Some of these guys are getting some good minutes as well. So they should be up around the mark. It's just whether they've had enough time together that they can gel. And it's like putting an all-star team together. So if they can gel, get those positions right, then why not? They've got some good players in each position.
They're certainly going to get some attention. Let's talk about your NBL career. 3 titles. Is there all different meanings in all of those? Anyone mean more than the other, or is it the same scenario? First one because it's the first, but the second one had something, third one had something?
Well, I think the first 2, the back-to-backs, were really good. We hadn't won since 86, so there's a long gap to 98. But we had a lot of talent in those teams, and that's probably why I like the third one, because we didn't have, I don't think, as much individual talent, and even at the start of the year, we're probably predicted to finish 6th or 7th based on that, but we just hit our straps in those last couple of weeks, and we're able to get a good run through the final, so that was pretty good.
I always have an image of the 2002 final, the team you're talking about. Siren sounds, Willie Farley jumping on your back, almost piggybacking him around the court, going to the crowd. What was that moment like? Other than a dead weight on your back.
I think with that one, we kind of knew that we were going to win it because we had a huge margin in that third game. So it's just a release for some of those guys. It was their first championship as well. And we'd been on a great run through those late 90s and into 2002. And you just kind of half expect it to keep going. And as we know, for different reasons, we weren't able to keep that run going. But it is a special moment when you spend all that time with a family pretty much, and then to reach that ultimate goal.
During someone's career at your level, and Smythe and I have spoken about this before, there are always opportunities presented to you, especially as part of a championship winning team, that you can't talk about once you're part of an organisation. Now, down the track, was there those opportunities for you to maybe shift interstate or to other teams?
Definitely was. I remember my last contract, I was that close to moving to New Zealand to play. They'd put a very good offer on the table, and I don't think the management at the time realised how close I was to going. It was very close.
Why the consideration? Was it a longevity thing beyond the, your time at the Sixers? You only saw 12 months ahead. Was Smythe still there at that time?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I can understand part of the reason. I can understand part of the reason. But New Zealand would have been it changed the direction of your life for your family and for yourself for forever.
We had young children at the time, and just the professionalism of New Zealand then, and the package that they were able to put together, they'd taken into consideration the children, having nannies come in as part of the contract.
Wow.
But let's be honest, it was purely finance. At that point, why would I give up all my time and that I'd spent with Adelaide? It was a much superior offer financially that really tweaked my imagination. And I'd grown up Australia versus New Zealand. They were the mortal enemy. Why would I'd never play for them. That's what I'd said. But this offer was very good, and it was hard to refuse.
And in saying that, I think it highlights some of the difficulties that AFL players have now, that after a long career with one club, still feel as though they've got something left and find themselves finishing their career at another club. And I just wonder, 10 years down the track, 20 years down the track, whether they regret that year or whether it's something that's needed to do.
I guess it's the position they find. If they need money, I mean, what the AFL guys are earning these days, so whether they do need that extra finance, or if they've got the right system, and if they've been, say, in Adelaide for a long period of time, they may have been able to set up a really good network that'll counteract that extra finance that they're going to get given anyway.
I'll let you know this, Marzi, we've never spoken about this. I was in the States when all that was happening, looking at players. I get a phone call from Paul Bauer, who was then the operations manager.
Yes.
He rings, how you going, all that sort of stuff. He said, oh, look, just letting you know that Marzi's going to New Zealand. So, beg your pardon? He said, I'll just let you know that we can't compete with the offer that's on the table for Marzi, so he's off. I said, well, surely you're contacting some people, do everything you can. Yeah, no, we can't do it. So I'm on the next plane home, talking to some people that were very, very good to the club, and were influential in. Brian Ferrari was one of those in trying to get an offer that could at least make it so Marzi had to think about it, which we're able to do. But I feel to this day, had we not received that phone call, Marzi would have been playing in New Zealand, and I wouldn't have blamed him for going. Not one bit.
But I think
because there is that when someone's chasing you, you want to feel that you're still. We're doing everything we can to keep you here, as opposed to that's a good offer.
And you've got obligations to a young family. You've got obligations for your future beyond the club, and as important as the club is to you, it's your career. Very interesting. I'm glad that came out. That's good.
Marzi, your time finished playing, worked for the club for a while, then started to look like you're going to embark on the coaching role. You spent a couple of years with Sturt. Did you think the next step was NBL and the Fireys have saved you and your hair loss?
It's taken a lot of stress out of my life, that's for sure. It was an avenue I really wanted to explore. Whether I did get into that, which I haven't, wasn't too sure, but it was certainly something. Basketball has been my life. It's a big interest, and thought that I've got something in that area to give. So I thought I'd explore it the best I could. I went for the 36ers coaching role, and clearly needed a bit of experience probably before taking that on, and so Sturt was a good one to go with, and we developed a really good team there, good system, and made it through to the grand final in my second year. So I was pretty happy with the development, but I think the Fireys may have saved me.
All right, we could talk for a long time. Time for us to go, of course. Adelaide 36's greatest player, Brett Maher, has a court named after him. Time for us to take a break. Stay with us.